All right, you guys, I'm going to try to explain kind of universal perspective. It's the idea that 1 and 2 and 3 point perspective don't really exist in the real world. Basically, there's just every object has potentially infinite numbers of vanishing points, just depending on how you're looking at them. And you can have a single object that has all kinds of different vanishing points at the same time. And I'm going to try to help you visualize it with a little box that I made, a little three-dimensional box. So in real life, 1 point perspective would be looking directly at the box as is. You can't see any of the sides, you can't see the top or the bottom. Another way to think about this is the vanishing point is through the center. So it's in the distance away from us. All four of these sides are going away from us, but the vanishing point isn't visible. I kind of have a little way of helping you see that. If you would be able to see through this box, you can kind of see that I have drawn on the inside how the lines are continuing on towards a vanishing point that would look like it was in the center of the box, but it'd be way back in the distance, far away from us. So that's really the only time you'd actually have one vanishing point. So let's talk about what it looks like if we had only two vanishing points for this object. So that would be if I tilted the box. And what's happening now is that the lines here and here are going towards a vanishing point on the right. The lines here and here are going towards a vanishing point on the left. Now, depending on how I tilt my box, that vanishing point, they're going to change. So even for this one object, as I tilt it, things are going to shift. So right now, this vanishing point is really far away from me, and the vanishing point on this side is actually much closer to the object. But as I tilt it, notice how those angles start to change, and this one's now farther away, okay? So that's what 2 point perspective would be like if we saw everything just from the corner. Now, we don't obviously do that most of the time. There's one more way that we can tilt this box. We can tilt it up, so we can now see the bottom as well. We can also tilt it down so we can see the top as well. So what this does is it adds another vanishing point to my object. So now I've got a vanishing point going this way, and now this edge here is also going towards that same vanishing point. I've got these two edges and this edge that are now going towards a vanishing point off here. And now I also have these lines. Now these are moving away from me as well, and there's a vanishing point somewhere down here, okay? Think about this as this corner here is technically the closest point to my face, which means that these lines are actually moving away from me. If this was a really, really long box, I would see it get as if it was getting smaller as it disappeared. If I tilt up, now, there we go. This corner is now closest to me. So these lines are going to be moving away from me, and I'm going to have a vanishing point up somewhere out here where you can't even see it right now because it's too far away. Okay, and obviously the more I tilt it, the more that vanishing point is going to be somewhere here, close to the box. So it changes depending on the angle of the tilt, and it depends on which way I move the box left and right, up and down. You can see that if it's this complicated just with a cube, imagine if this was a rectangle with boxes coming out of it, for example, like on a dresser, where you have things that can come pulling out at the same moment, or maybe I have two boxes sitting next to each other. They're going to have all kinds of different vanishing points. So when you guys are practicing, this is kind of the concept that you need to understand for being able to draw that rotational sphere. And let me show you my example here. All right, so this is information you can also find from Draw a Box. So this is the idea behind the rotational sphere, where in the middle, this is the only box that you're looking at head on, and that's why the vanishing point is in the middle. But as you rotate the box, so here's that box, and as you rotate it, that's where you're getting this box from now, okay? So you can't see the bottom, you can't see the top, but the vanishing point on the left, and now the vanishing point on the right is actually going to shift. So it's not going to be in the middle, it's going to be kind of off to the right a little bit. And as it turns more and more and more, the vanishing point on the right is going to be farther and farther away from that center point, okay? Okay, I know this is pretty tricky, but I want you guys to try your best to kind of figure this out. It's going to take you a little bit of time to kind of make sense of this. Follow the directions that I have on the PowerPoint, and let me know if you have questions. Good luck.